Hi Stampers, this is Karen Phillip. I'm a Stampin Up Demonstrator and I'm going to show you how to make this cute card. It's called a spanner card. It opens from the front and then you have a center panel and then you have the inside for your sentiment. It looks more difficult than it really is, but it's a fun card to make. Here is the club member sample card. It flips up, lifts up, and you have your sentiment part. These are 1/2 inch wide strips, and you'll see what I'm talking about when we get to the making of the card. I also made a couple others. This is one using a different bear, and you flip it up, and that's how that one works. And this was my inspiration card. I don't recall the demonstrator that had this one, but it's a beautiful card, but I didn't want to demonstrate it, but I wanted to show it, and I had to practice on something. So this is using the Peaceful Cabin stamp set, and same thing, it just flips open. So beautiful cards and easy technique. For these two, I use the Penguin designer paper. I'm just showing you the 2 sheets that I use for this card. On one side is just a design, and the other side has cute images. All of the images need to be cut out except for the penguin, which can be punched out with the penguin punch, which unfortunately is unavailable right now, but it will be back hopefully shortly. So that's the penguin punch. This is a bundle, and this is the stamp set. We did use some of the stamps, the sentiment stamps, and this little bitty hat here. So these can be punched out directly, and then I use this piece for this bear and this penguin, and then on the green card I use this big bear. Let's get started. First thing we need to take you'll probably need your paper trimmer for this, and we will take a piece of 8.5 by 8.5 by 5.5. Let me get some of this other stuff out of the way. Okay. And score it at 4 1/4, like so. And we will take our paper trimmer, and you can use either side of the trimmer. It's marked on the right side with 1 to 1.5 inches, or on the left side, which goes up to 6, and the arm pulls out to get it up to 17 inches. So to do this, we will put it, I'm using the right side of the trimmer. I'm putting it on the 1 inch line, taking my blade, the blade part. There's 2 blades. One's a scoring, which is the light gray. One is the cutter, and that's the darker one. I'm looking on the one side, the right side, and there are markings. Let's see if I can show you. There are markings with the measurements. I did put a piece of washi tape on the inside so that I could see through, otherwise this is clear. Alright, so we need to go on the 1 inch, and I'm going to 4 1/4, or you can just line it up with your score line, push down and push up. So you have your first tab, and now we'll flip it over and we'll do the same thing. We want to go to the 1 inch mark, go to 4 1/4, and there are little marks here so you can see where your score line is. Push down to push the blade in and score up. And basically that's the mechanism for the card. Ooh, need a new blade. Okay, so next we will decorate it, and we will take 4 pieces 3/4 inch by 4, and we'll put 2 on the front and 2 on the inside. So let's do that. Try to go quickly on this. Oops. So you put that in between the border of your little flap. Get my silicone pad here. There we go. Alright. Next we will do the inside ones. You flip it all the way open. Now we'll put these 2 on the bottom, right underneath where the other ones are. You can use either side of your designer paper. My preference was the simple just design, I didn't want to get too busy. Okay. Next we will put the front white piece on, and this piece is 3 1/4 by 4, and I have embossed it with the snowflake. It's a snowflake and pine needle duo embossing folder, and we'll just set that on there in the center. I'll be doing some sanding in a bit. This is pretty ragged here. Okay, so now we will flip it up, and we'll take our second piece of 3 1/4 by 4 and put that on the inside, and that can be your writing part or your sentiment, another sentiment if you'd like. This card will make a nice birthday card for a winter birthday. Okay, the next step is making the bar that goes across here, and that makes it so that you can flip up just one level at a time. So I have a piece of cardstock that's 1 1/2 by 5 1/2. I've already stamped the sentiment. It says, "For the coolest friend ever." So you'll put that piece towards you, and from the top right you will grab just about 1/8 of an inch if you can, and just, might have to go 1/4 inch, and just start tearing towards you. And then when you get to about where the letters start, then you'll just bring it down a little bit, so you have sort of like a little snow hill, and you want the ragged edge to show. That makes it again look more like snow. So now we will add our mesh ribbon. This mesh ribbon is really pretty. It comes in a big roll. There's 10 yards on the roll, and you can use this for any kind of holiday or whatever you'd like. I like to use it for snow because it just gives it a little sparkle without the mess, like glitter could do or anything else. For this part, you need to, I'll put it over here so you can see better. I'm just putting just a tiny piece of adhesive. I don't know if you'll be able to see this. Okay, so just you can see it's just a tiny little bit right there to catch the ribbon. And the reason why I'm putting it there is our penguin will go over the top of it, and then it'll hold it in place. So now I'm just setting it down. These pieces might be a little longer, so I'm lining up the left side, the right side's longer. I'll take a sharp scissors. Now I'm going to cut along the edge of the snow hill, top and bottom, and now you have a couple options. You could just cut it off like across here, or what I did is I went from the bottom and just cut so there's some on the top, but then you can still see the sentiment. So I just cut it out around the sentiment, but still had a little bit on the top. Now we'll take a glue dot and put that underneath this one little part here. So we'll take our glue dot, I'm using my pickup tool, putting it not on quite on the end, put it right on there, push it down, and it'll be a little sticky. It'll be a lot sticky. Okay, so what you can do to eliminate the stickiness is take your embossing buddy, if you have one, or any kind of a powdery kind of thing, and just kind of pounce on there a little bit, and that will remove the sticky. And see, it's not sticky at all now. So it's just a little hint that you can do when things get sticky. Next we will put our penguin that I have previously punched out. Here's all my little pieces. I pre-cut these. And here's the penguin. Again, this one used the punch. We will use a dimensional, and I'm using the large dimensional, and putting that on the back, only on the bottom part of his body. So probably in the center of the bottom. You don't want to put anything on his head because then it'll stick to the card. So take that off, and we'll put him, we won't put him on quite yet, we'll put this on the card first. So now I'm going to take either tear and tape or your Stampin' Seal Plus. You'll do a row of adhesive along the wider side, and then onto the smaller side, just on the end. So it's just on, let's see here. So we have this end and this end, and you want them to go up and down, because if you get them over the edge here, it will stick to this layer, and that won't work then. So now I'm just setting it, I'm laying it on the bottom of the card, making sure these are straight. Sometimes they like to move. Whoops. That's when it helps before you push it down. Okay, so that's where it's going, on the bottom, and you just push it down. And that's how we get our mechanism, so that you have your center layer that stays down and then this flips up. We'll finish decorating. I have my dimensional on the back, on the bottom half again, and where you put your tape to hold down your mesh ribbon, you want to cover that up. So I'm putting that sort of on the edge here a little bit. Now the front is, oh no, we have to put his hat on. So I have a little hat that I cut out in the fresh freesia. That one's a hard one to say. I stamped it, and then I cut it out, hand cut it. I'm taking just a dot of our Tombow glue and just putting tiny dot, you can barely see it, and putting our hat on there. You don't want to put the adhesive necessarily on here, because if you get it on the top of the hat, it will stick to there, and again you won't be able to open it up. So we'll just stick that on there and let it sit. There we go. Just adds a little, keeps the colors together. Next we will put our bear, again that I've pre-cut, and he just goes on flat. And I'm just putting regular adhesive on him, and he goes, you slide him underneath the little snow hill here, and I kind of like it that he's like touching the top of the penguin head, so put him there. Then I have punched out some trees from the evergreen border punch. Okay. And this again goes just flat. So I just put a little adhesive on that. And I'm using the Stampin' Seal Plus because that's one of my favorite adhesives to use. So any pieces that are sticking out, you just push those under with no problems. Well, sort of no problems. Okay. Now I will line this up, lift this up a little bit so that I just have it on the center piece. And I'm lining it up so that all of the bottom of the trees are covered by the top. So about there's where I want it to go. And we'll just set it down there, like that. And then the final two pieces, so we'll lift it up. Now that's your center layer. We'll lift it up again, and now I cut out just a little penguin just to set in there. And we'll just put a little adhesive on him, set that down. Final thing is the sentiment, and I've used the stamp from that penguin stamp set called Penguin Place. Adhere it to, this is from the double oval punch, and we will add a couple dimensionals on that. And let's see, I got two here. Okay, take off the release piece. And this is sort of fun so that he shows. I just lifted up his head just a little bit, and you want to make sure it's not too far over because it will get stuck on there. I have his head just sticking up just a little bit on the top. And that's it. So I hope you enjoyed learning how to make a spanner card. It's fun, it's easy, and it's cute. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.